Hello, Scrappy Peeps! Suzanna here today for Scrap Your Joy, and I'm sharing with you another layout I created using the Midnight Collection by Coco Vanilla Studios. So that is the layout. It is very die cut heavy, both from the die cuts that come with the Midnight Collection as well as die cuts that I cut using my electronic die cutting machine. I used that particular cut there from Paige and I backed it with vellum to give you the illusion of the glass or jars. This layout was inspired by the jars that are included in the collection, and I wanted to make basically an arrangement of the jars, and the jars that were empty, i.e. not the Paige Evans one, I was going to fill with the flowers from the Midnight Collection. So I printed out a few jars. I printed out I cut out two other jars using my Silhouette Cameo, and I backed those with vellum as well. You will see as the video goes on that I play with different adhesives for how I'm going to back them. I used a Martha Stewart blue glue pen, and I really liked that. I did also try using my Scotch quick dry adhesive, which did not go so well, and it actually left marks on the vellum with the liquid adhesive because I did get some of the blobs of the glue that spread out behind the vellum. So when I'm applying sequins, which I typically do, it's not a big deal because it does dry clear. And while the liquid glue does dry clear on the vellum as well, it's not leaves a mark, but it almost leaves a shadow on the vellum is what it is. And so you can see it, but not a big deal. So those two jars that I just laid down are die cuts from the die cut pack, and that is what inspired the layout. They have hearts on them, and so I want to fill those jars, and I have a combination of the bits and pieces that are in the die cut pack, the greenery, as well as some bits and pieces that I cut using my die cut machine. And the bits and pieces are bits and pieces that come with those particular jars. And I want to say that that is a Nick Squirrel cut file, but I will look for sure, and I will link that information in the description box down below. And then, of course, the greenery needs to have flowers on top, and so I used some of the many flowers that come in the embellishment kit and put those flowers on top of the greenery there so that there are more flowers and jars to share with you in this particular layout. And those of you that follow me know that I am a stickler for the visual triangle. And there is no visual triangle here because you can see how everything kind of moves from left to right, or depending on how you look, perhaps from right to left across the page. And there will be a mini visual triangle that will come towards the end of the layout, but you really won't see it come together quite as distinctly as my normal visual triangles do. So what I just put down there was one of the clear stickers. It is a blue, they're a blue collection of leaves, and I just like the way that the leaves that are blue complemented the blue at the bottom of the page and created some movement from those leaves in the flowers down to the bottom of my page there. So this is where I used the liquid adhesive and adhered it down to the page, and where the quote-unquote shadow that you see, or the dried glue, ends up becoming visible. I have decided on the placement of everything, and I'm just going to adhere it down now. And in my usual fashion, where I put it originally and where it ends up being, because of the shift, never ends up being the same thing, but it's okay. It all works out. So having learned from my previous lesson, I am now going to use my Prima glue pen. I use my Prima glue pen for a lot when it comes to the finer detail work, and then I use my ATG gun for the rest of it. I want some dimension to this layout, and so I am going to pop the second of two flowers of the two flower in each of those vases, jars that I am using. Do you say vase or vase? I think it's kind of like a potato kind of thing. I think I say vase, but that's because my mom is English and I'm influenced by her. So liquid glue here to just stick down the back. It's easier for me to use the liquid glue on those smaller elements and not get sticky all over myself. And that's why I chose that particular adhesive there. So just putting the other bits and pieces down. So I want to talk a little bit about this layout and the title. This picture is of myself with some brand new glasses. I also do wear contacts, and I replace my contacts yearly, but I don't replace my glasses yearly. And after I think about 3 years, I did get new glasses, and so that's why I took a picture of myself in my new glasses. So the title is called See the Good. And the journaling actually does talk about the new glasses, but I do have sort of a hidden message behind this title, in that there's always something to be grateful for. New glasses, being able to see more clearly. And if you can see the good, you become more positive and you experience happiness more deeply. And I wanted to play on that because I'm at a point in my life where you've heard about the kids and about my marriage. And, you know, things are actually really good. They're difficult, but they're actually really good. And so I want to see the good in others and see the good in myself and not be blinded by the negativity. And I want the kids to be positive as well. And so there's a bit of a metaphor in not only the new glasses, but wanting to have a new vision on my life and an impact upon my family as well. And it was interesting to me sort of reflecting back on this layout, and as I'm doing this voiceover, the jars as well, because sort of the jar half full instead of half empty. Quickly back to this layout, what I'm doing here. So I wanted to use the title See the Good, as I just mentioned, but they didn't have C and they didn't have good. So I took sweet and I cut out the W and the T to create my C, which works perfectly. And that using that the with my good, it was imbalanced because you had those two words that were the same and then that third word that just kind of looked like it was thrown in there. So I'm going to use this good from my Vicki Boutin Tuesday morning haul, and that is going to be definitely the good. And then what ends up being the word is one of the word stickers from the collection pack. And in order to create that visual triangle that I like to have on my layouts, and also to incorporate more gold, because by putting that good in there, that was the only form of that gold, and I felt that I needed to have that same element somewhere else throughout the page. So I'm going to use 2 little gold hearts. And the placement of those gold hearts actually helps create that visual triangle. So you can see the good in the title. And then if you go over to the right, there's a small gold heart next to the heart in the right-hand side jar, which leads you over to the picture where you will find the journaling underneath, over to that other second gold heart on that left-hand side, and then you go back up to gold. And so that kind of leads your eye in that visual triangle through the title, the picture, and the journaling, which completes the storytelling of this layout. So it all works out in the end. So that, my friends, is my Cocoa Vanilla layout, inspired by goodies from Scrapbook Your Joy. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave them in the box down below. If there's any info you would like to know about Scrapbook Your Joy, also leave that in the box down below. Thanks for stopping in today. I hope you're doing well. Take care.